The Ryzen 7 9800X3D sure is a great choice to build a powerhouse PC around, but slapping it into any motherboard just won't cut it when you want to bring out its peak performance. So to make sure you nail this part, we're breaking down the top 5 best motherboards to bring the best out of your Ryzen 7 9800X3D. Let's head right in. So first, we have the MSI MAG X670E Tomahawk Wi-Fi, which could be right up your alley for your Ryzen 7 9800X3D build when you're keeping a close eye on your budget. Now, this board isn't the newest kid on the block, it's from the previous generation, but it's still totally ready for the 9800X3D right out of the box, especially with a quick BIOS update to the latest ASUS. And you're getting a lot of features here that you'd expect on more modern boards, like those with the X870 or X870E chipsets. Of course, to keep the price down, there are a few things that aren't quite as cutting edge. You won't find the super fast Wi-Fi 7 here or some of the new easy DIY design elements, or the absolute highest memory speeds that the latest 800 series chipsets offer. But honestly, for most of us, those are features we can probably live without, right? Where this board really shines is in the stuff that matters for a powerful CPU like the 9800X3D, like solid power delivery, great component compatibility, and all the connectivity you'll likely need. It's even capable if you want to dabble in overclocking, just maybe don't expect to be setting any world records. Now, it might not have all the flashy bells and whistles on the board itself, but it does have those really helpful easy debug LEDs. Trust me, those can be lifesavers if you ever run into hardware issues, and it's got PCIe 5.0 support. That's awesome, because it means you're future-proofed for those super fast next-gen graphics cards and the latest PCIe 5.0 SSDs. So you can still have a really fast and modern system, even while saving some cash. And that's the big deal at the end of the day. Next, we have the GIGABYTE X870E AORUS Pro Ice. Now, this board strikes a really nice balance. It's not going to completely empty your wallet, but it definitely doesn't skimp on features or quality. First thing you'll notice is the design. It just looks premium. GIGABYTE went all out with brushed aluminum heatsinks all over the twin-phase VRM chipset and M.2 slots. It's not just for show, though. These heatsinks, along with embedded copper heat pipes, mean serious cooling, which is exactly what you want, especially if you're thinking about pushing your Ryzen 7 9800X3D a bit with overclocking. And speaking of easy, GIGABYTE really focused on making this board user-friendly. They call it easy DIY, and they mean it. Adding things like a Wi-Fi antenna, an M.2 drive, or even your graphics card is super straightforward with their easy plug-and-play design. Plus, the board layout is really well thought out. It supports DDR5 memory for up to 8200 megatransfers per second, has got 2 USB 4 ports, and Qualcomm Wi-Fi 7 connectivity. Besides, out of the 4 M.2 slots, 3 are Gen 5 capable. Then they've also grouped headers for fans, RGB lighting, and front panel connectors together, which makes cable management a whole lot easier. And for troubleshooting, they've put the Easy Debug LEDs right on the top right corner where they're easy to see. Smart, right? Honestly, if you're building a solid gaming rig around the Ryzen 7 9800X3D, the X870E AORUS Pro Ice is a fantastic choice. It's designed to handle pretty much any modern component you throw at it, so you shouldn't have to worry about compatibility headaches. That also means future upgrades down the line should be a breeze. So, if you want a board that looks great, performs great, and is easy to build with, then this AORUS Pro Ice is definitely worth considering. And then, we have the MSI MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi. Now, when you start looking at the high-end motherboard category, things often come down to which board gives you the most of what you need for your money. And that's where the MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi really shines. It just nails the overall package. I mean, think about it. You've got a seriously beefy VRM to keep temperatures under control, even when you're pushing your Ryzen 7 9800X3D. Speaking of that VRM, it's a 21 power phase design, which is seriously robust. It runs incredibly cool, second only to our top pick motherboard in terms of thermals. But the connectivity on this thing, it's kind of insane. This board is a bit of a unicorn because it actually has 2 LAN ports, a super-fast 5G port and a 2.5G port. Plus, you get the latest Wi-Fi 7, Bluetooth 5.4, and nearly 2 dozen USB ports. Just on the rear alone, you're looking at 9 USB Type-A 10G ports, 2 USB-C 40G, and 2 USB-C 10G ports. So you're definitely not going to run out of places to plug in your stuff. And with support for DDR5 memory up to 256 gigabytes and speeds reaching 8400 megatransfers per second, it pushes the boundaries of system performance. MSI didn't hold back aesthetics-wise, too. It's got these really nice-looking heat sinks and some customizable RGB lighting on the I/O shroud and M.2 heatsink. If you're into making your PC look as good as it performs, this board definitely delivers. And for those just-in-case moments, MSI included easy debug LEDs, error code readouts, and even power and reset buttons right on the board itself. There's even an extra PCIe power connector down at the bottom, just to make sure your graphics cards are getting all the juice they need. So, all in all, the MPG X870E Carbon Wi-Fi is a seriously well-rounded high-end option you'll definitely want to take a closer look at. Okay, so we're down to our number 2 pick, and this one's a real powerhouse, the ASUS ROG Strix X670E. If you're serious about gaming and want a motherboard that's going to keep you on the cutting edge, this could be the one. Like any premium board, one of its biggest highlights is PCIe Gen 5 support. That means you can throw in the fastest PCIe Gen 5 SSDs and see some serious speed improvements. We're talking lightning-fast boot times, games loading in a snap, and just an overall snappier system. And if you're thinking about pushing your Ryzen 7 9800X3D to its limits, the power delivery system on this board is ready for it. It's an 18+2 phase design, which means super stable power, even when you're overclocking. Now, even though previous X3D chips weren't really overclockable, things are different with the 9800X3D, and this board is set up to let you explore that potential. Just remember, if you're going to overclock, a good CPU cooler is a must to keep things running smoothly. ASUS also paid attention to durability and cooling in other areas. They've included a backplate for extra protection against shorts, which is a nice touch, and they've put thermal pads in all the right spots to keep your M.2 SSDs running cool and performing their best. So even with high-end processors running at full tilt, this board just shrugs it off and keeps things running efficiently. Now, here's a heads up. With all that speed, you'll really want to pair this board with a fast SSD to make the most of it. Otherwise, you might find yourself waiting a bit longer for boot-ups than you'd expect from such a high-end setup. Still, you're getting top-tier efficiency, seriously impressive cooling, and just a ton of high-end features packed into one board. It's an investment for sure, but it's one that's built for the long haul and designed to deliver exceptional performance. And finally, we've got the ASRock X870E Taichi. Now, when you look at all the X870 and X870E motherboards out there, this one consistently comes out ahead in pretty much every area. But its unmatched VRM performance is actually why it's taking the crown today. Honestly, the X870E Taichi isn't just the best choice for the Ryzen 7 9800X3D, it's arguably the best X870E motherboard you can get for any of the latest AMD Ryzen 9000 processors, even the top-of-the-line Ryzen 9 9950X. The key to its performance is that incredibly robust 27 power phase VRM. Combine that with really well-designed dense heat sinks, and you've got a board that just runs cool. Whether you're running your CPU at stock speeds or pushing it with overclocking, the Taichi keeps temperatures down. What does that mean for you? Well, you can really unleash the full potential of your 9800X3D. Think of higher clock speeds, better performance, and less heat, which is perfect for long gaming sessions or heavy workloads. But it's not just about raw power. The X870E Taichi is packed with features that make building and using your PC a breeze. It's got onboard troubleshooting tools, excellent compatibility with all sorts of components, super modern connectivity, and an easy DIY design that just makes everything easier. Seriously, things like toolless M.2 installation and an easy release for your graphics card, those little touches make a big difference. You're also getting support for super fast DDR5 memory, the latest PCIe 5.0 slots for your GPU, and NVMe SSDs, blazing fast Wi-Fi 7, and even USB 4 for those super speedy data transfers. Plus, if you're into aesthetics, there's customizable RGB lighting too. So if you're building a high-end gaming rig or a workstation, and you want the absolute best motherboard to pair with your Ryzen 7 9800X3D, the ASRock X870E Taichi is definitely the one to beat. Thanks for sticking around. For more content like this, don't forget to hit subscribe, click the bell icon too, so you'll get notified every time we drop a new video at FlexiViews.